Welcome back to another edition of All Things MSP Live. Tonight we have Andrea Barrow and Sean Lardo from Connectwise in the house. We're going to be sharing the K9s for Warriors project being supported again this year by IT Nation Gives. With IT Nation Secure coming up and last weekend being Memorial Day holiday, we thought it would be fitting to focus on how we can give back. Tonight's intro includes a quick video I compiled from the footage that I shot at IT Nation Connect last year about K9s for Warriors and the fun service project that Connectwise hosted. So hold on for that in just a few moments, but first, a word from tonight's sponsors. If you're struggling with the complexity of Microsoft 365 deployment, management, and automation, it's time to check out CoreView. Created by MSPs for MSPs like you, they help you with the end-to-end Microsoft 365 administration from the moment you set up a new tenant. Packed with things like unified visibility and control of all your tenants from a single UI, to powerful no-code automation engine, baseline tenant configurations, drift remediation, and much more, you can supercharge your productivity and do even the most time-consuming tasks with just one click. Work effortlessly and deliver best practices to your customers today with CoreView. To learn more, visit atmsp.link/CoreView. Data migrations are complex and irritating, creating days of frustration from setup to cutover. MoveBot was built from the ground up to fix that. MoveBot is the simplest, fastest tool for moving files and emails that there is. Fully hosted with no infrastructure, no virtual machines, none of that craziness. Sign up, connect, scan, and you'll be moving data in minutes. Move data like a pro at atmsp.link/MoveBot. Have you ever wondered how much time your team spends in meetings and what the real impact was? Well, wonder no more. With Produce 8's latest release, you're getting insights into meeting effectiveness and productivity metrics that will improve the way you do business. Some of the benefits are seamless integrations with leading platforms such as Google Calendar, Outlook, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Slack to help you streamline meetings, especially for your MSP teams. Executive dashboards help gain insights into meeting investments, including salary breakdowns and resource allocation. That gives you enhanced views into profitability. Team sentiment analysis provides understanding of employee morale through user sentiment analysis, leveraging feedback to improve productivity and workplace well-being. Team empowerment gives access to personalized reports, real-time metrics, and goal-setting features for better work-life balance and productivity control. Explore how Produce 8 is revolutionizing the MSP landscape at atmsp.link/Produce 8. Improve your productivity and propel your MSP business to new heights with Produce 8.
Hey there, we're at IT Nation Connect, just kicking off IT Nation Gives with some dog treat making. So that is what's happening behind me right now. We are actually partnering with an organization called K9s for Warriors. They are an organization local to Jacksonville, Florida, and they actually take shelter dogs and pair them with veterans who have served our country. Go through some pretty extensive training, and then at the end of that training, that service dog is now paired with the warrior.
We rescue dogs and pair them with veterans who are looking to enhance the quality of their lives. For 3 weeks, we'll be training with their new service dog. We have casseroles for K9s that cook homemade meals for our veterans while they're in-house. This is all no expense to the veteran from the time they leave home until the time that they return. 3 weeks later, from their arrival, we then have graduation day, which is the best as we watch this warrior and their new service dog go out to experience a whole new life.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of All Things MSP Live. Of course, tonight we are talking about K9s for Warriors, and we have a special guest tonight that I was not expecting, but it's so great that we have somebody here who can talk specifically to this organization. Now, of course, we're talking about this tonight because this is a project that is supported in part by IT Nation Gives, and IT Nation Secure is right around the corner next week. And of course, PitchIT 2024 just kicked off recently. So a lot of great stuff going on. And we're going to talk about tonight something that's very, very important and something that's become very, very effective for these people who participate in this program. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pull up Andrea Barrow and Sean Lardo from Connectwise. Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. And I see Sean's already lighting up a cigar.
I did. I'm celebrating.
Well, you know how we go around here. We're casual.
Yeah, I'm casual.
Cool. Beverage too. Very nice. What are you having?
So my daughter actually bought this for me down in Virginia. It's called Hunter and Scott Bourbon Whiskey. It's from its local distillery there. This was bottle 18 from batch 119. Man, it is and obviously
I hear the 18th bottle is always the best. So
that's what I was told. I'm like, she's got such great taste, and obviously I hate it because
because it's almost gone.
Right.
If you get a little farther south of the border, Sean, into North Carolina, there's one right as you're coming down 95 called Weldon Mills that's really good as well.
Well, all right, Andrea, we're going to Weldon Mills. We'll meet Eric there.
Plan. All right, let's do it. Road trip.
Sounds like a great plan, actually.
I think we'll just have a Connectwise meetup there.
There we go.
Agree.
Yeah.
It's team building.
Exactly.
That's important, they say.
It is.
So, Andrea, from what Sean tells me, you're in charge of kind of the philanthropy piece of this. And so if you would go ahead and kind of tee us up for what you guys do and how you guys are involved.
For sure. I'd be happy to, Eric. Thank you. So I get to have the opportunity to help lead a lot of our philanthropic activities here at Connectwise. And one of those key things that we put on is IT Nation Gives. So this year, IT Nation Gives is making its debut at IT Nation Secure. This is actually the first time we're able to have an event in IT Nation Secure specifically for Gives. And we are partnering with K9s for Warriors. So K9s for Warriors is an organization we were able to work with at IT Nation Connect in 2023. And they are such a truly impactful organization. They actually find rescue dogs who are in shelters, train them, and then pair them with veterans in need who have experienced, PTSD or other traumatic experiences in their life where they need a service dog. So they have just been an incredible organization to work with. Their mission aligns to one of the key pillars of philanthropy that Connectwise holds near and dear, which is supporting our veterans. And I just couldn't be happier to be able to work with them again this year.
That's awesome. And Sean, I know, you do a little stuff around there. So tell me a little bit about, what you're doing currently.
So, well, obviously, to be clear, I think I'm probably Andrea's biggest fan. So whatever she wants to do, I do.
I will say, Sean, is anytime I need something, I say, hey, Sean, can you help me with this? And never hesitate. So very much appreciated. Thank you, Sean.
Never. And then everybody else gets mad at me. But Andrea,
that is true too. Yeah.
That is very true. So when she came to me last year for this even, well, obviously I'm a veteran. So, and I understand and I value it. And I rescue dogs. So like everything about it is exactly up my alley, which my dog, she's back there chilling. She's like a heifer. She's like 7 months old. And
she's coming. She's so cute.
She's 48 months, dude. Look at this thing. Let me show you.
I think you meant to say 48 pounds. And
yeah, 47, 48. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This is the girl.
Sweet.
So I'm very much in support of this, doing this. So this is one thing I'm doing, right? Right. And then other than that, though, actually, Andrea works with me in PitchIT. Sure. Our PitchIT program is up and running, which Eric has been a huge advocate now this year, interviewing all of our vendors and contestants. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric.
And so and it's cool, right? Isn't it cool, Eric, to do it? Like when Andrea and I put it together, it was cool as shit.
I am excited for you guys to see because I did a little bit of a different format, right? I did this game show format, and it's been kind of fun. with the contestants. So they're going to start premiering next week. We filmed 4, so we've got them in the can. I just have to do a little bit of editing, but yeah, they were a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people are going to get stuff out of it too. It's not just interviews with these contestants, but they're talking about their products, and we threw some curveballs at them to kind of help them prepare for the other pitches that they're going to have to do down the road.
Which that's so crucial, and that's a whole nother conversation at some point, right, to have. But yeah, and also you'll be seeing us next week at Secure as well.
Yep.
And creating content and spreading the word, which is important. But yeah, so Andrea's like, I don't know, somehow we're just paired up. I don't know how it happened, but I
can't get rid of me, Sean. Yeah.
I won. Andrea, not so much, but I won. And yeah, when we were building out the whole PitchIT thing, though, it was like, it's funny because Andrea is so patient. She tolerates me, which is great. And I think I was saying a lot of shit real fast. And she was like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then she puts it into English and practical use, which helps me tremendously. So yeah, awesome. That's what I'm working on. And then also with Secure, we have all our users coming in, which we have a lot of good friends that are users that use our products. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, again, Eric, you and I both, we came from outside. You're not part of Connectwise or IT Nation. I was never until now. And being from the outside coming in, I think like the IT Nation events were always so good to me. Mm-hmm. The community is always so good that like it's hard not to represent a really strong community that's so much good for so many people, Yeah. So it's easy. It's almost a no-brainer to do those things. And then doing the philanthropy thing is like, my God, it's like gravy for me.
Yeah, well, I've had the pleasure of attending IT Nation as an MSP, as a vendor, and now as media. So it's really exciting to me to kind of get to see all the facets of it. And of course, thanks to Connectwise for doing all of this and for sharing all this and giving us the opportunity to put a spotlight on K9s for Warriors. Personally, I have a family member who has a service dog, and I know how important it is for those who, really depend on them to have the type of life that the rest of us get to enjoy on a normal basis. So, I think you think it's time to go ahead and bring up our special guest.
Yeah, the actual only guest that really should be talking. Yes.
100%. Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Mike Drafts and Garrett, or Little G, from K9s for Warriors.
Thank you for having us so much. Her name is Garrett. She goes by, her street name is Little G. She's a little good. She's a little girl. She's a little gangsta. She's a little all those things. She's currently, let me give you the Garrett cam because she was sleeping. She is currently up. She is just waking up just to say hello.
What a cutie. Hi, Little G.
Nice.
I feel like she's not very little, though. I think that's kind of
yeah,
That's why it's Lil, not little.
Lil.
Yeah, Lil is short for little. It stands for little, Andrea.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
Not this time, apparently.
Not in the slang version.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I'm done. It's fine. You all win.
Moving on.
All win.
I think with all three of us ganging up on him, he's giving up.
Yeah.
So
it's been a long day, Eric. So yeah, I'm giving up. I'm done. I'll just drink my drink.
There he is with the drink again. Okay, so Mike, because this is really about K9s for Warriors, go ahead and give us a little bit of a preview or kind of a synopsis of how you got involved with K9s for Warriors.
Yeah. So me personally, how I came to find out about K9s for Warriors and really get involved with the organization is through a mutual friend. When I left the military, it was a really kind of a hard transition. I think a lot of people have that hard kind of you don't really know where your life's going to take you. You know where you're at in the unit that you're with. You have a bond with people there, and you trust them, and you kind of leave that. And there's nothing really like that ever. That's the first thing. I don't care what branch, even, maybe somebody who's in the Army who's right over here beside me would even tell you the same thing, is that
Passes
camaraderie.
ASVAB.
Yeah,
He means the
right.
guy that passed the ASVAB on the call. That's what he means. That's fine.
You really miss that. So uh, I, I went to, just like a lot of other people, the first thing people do is try to find that direction and find that, and they use the first resource that they can find, which is typically like college type resources. So um, everybody goes to school, and then you feel really weird because maybe you're the person in that class that's maybe 30 years old and everybody else is 18 years old, and then you're kind of out of place. So um, transitioning into society after you get out is kind of like a really weird, you're just trying to find that niche of people that where you feel like you fit in again. um, I started working with a lot of disabled veterans, helping them understand what their educational benefits were, how to utilize them, and put them on a career path to kind of help them kind of find what they wanted to do. I found a lot of, like, I don't know, passion in that, helping guide other people into kind of what they wanted to do. Um, I just loved helping other disabled veterans like myself. And then that kind of went into this opportunity. A friend of mine had volunteered at K9s for Warriors, and at that point, it was just starting out of a garage by a woman named Sherry Duvall, who loved her son so much that she created a program that had no clue that the scientific facts behind it were sound. And we've done so many studies that show that this is actually like a thing. She just did it out of love, and it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew and started taking foot. And then, man, who wouldn't want to be a part of this? I mean, we're using primarily rescue dogs, and then not only giving that dog a second chance at life, but helping a veteran get that maybe second chance at life at the same time. So I had the opportunity. My wife, I actually had a I interviewed twice, and I didn't get the first job the first time I interviewed. And I was like, oh man. And it was a huge pay cut. And I was like, oh man, I want to work at a nonprofit. I'm going to take a pay cut. I don't know what I'm going to do. Um, anyway, I ended up taking a job. Um, and it was the first time I think I ever took a job for the mission and not the money. And man, that felt good.
I
I don't think
love that.
I've never went to work one day in the past almost 7 years and said, holy crap, I have to go to work today. And that is probably, out of everything that, I can get out of all of this, that means the most to me. It's, it's just something. It's not work if you love it. And to the point where you don't necessarily know how much you love it, because you integrate it into your life so much that it's part of your DNA. So I became involved in K9s for Warriors because I fell in love with the passion and the mission of it, and watching people evolve into the best self that they were, to the point where I thought I was really alone. And I was dealing with my own like issues through the VA. I had PTSD, traumatic brain injury, all those things. I'm 100% disabled through the VA, total and permanent, which just simply means I don't have to sit through another one of those crazy evaluation hearings again ever, because I'm not going to get any better anytime soon. But
I disagree, Mike. You can always do better.
I put the suck in successful. But I always kind of just felt like I was just so screwed up that I couldn't. There was no, I don't know, just I never felt worthy of things. And being around other people who were not necessarily broken, but feeling the same things, I looked at them and I was like, God, man, they're just kind of like they're like me. Or I'm like, God, that was me like a year ago. Maybe I have progressed a little bit. So for 5 years, I watched people get service dogs and turn into a lot better versions of themselves. I saw people go back to school and finish their degrees. I saw people go to baseball games with their kids. I saw people go to Disney World who hadn't been in a crowd in like years. And like, I'm sitting here and I'm working here and I'm watching it. And after like 5 years, I'm like, screw it. I owe this to myself. Like, I'm dishing all this good stuff out, and it's time for me to get a scoop. So I did. I did what everybody else did. I put in an application, and um, I knew that Garrett, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who I was going to get. It's almost like Married at First Sight. We'll talk about it. It's the worst. We should do our own show on this. This is horrible. How not horrible. It is like oh my gosh, we'll talk about it. But I knew that this dog had been training for anywhere between 3 to 9 months to be the best version of itself for me. So I knew that I owed it to that dog to do the same thing. So uh, for a year, I started working out, and we're working out hard and working on my mental health, working on my physical health. And I went, this is going to make you cry. Get ready, get your tissues. I went from a size 44-inch waist to a 32. I went from 283 pounds to 185 pounds. I went from 40% body fat to 16.1% body fat in the past 19 months. And I'm not saying the dog did it, but I'm going to say when you find the balance between, and this is where I think this has helped me and the dog has helped me the most, is my body hurts so much that I would be depressed and I would hurt, but my mental health, there's no balance. So I wouldn't do a lot. So maybe my body wouldn't hurt, but I'd be depressed. And then I would do too much and my body would hurt. And then maybe my mental health would be. So it's finding that balance between how much can I hurt physically, but how much will it help my mental health at the same time? And I think that growth comes through failure, and finding that struggle, it's almost like a sliding scale. It's not the same, and you can't treat it the same. So I think with my service dog and having her in my life, it helps me figure out ways to implement like a new tool, and help me kind of get where I need to be in a healthy, more responsible way. But yeah, I mean, I knew that she was trying to be the best version of herself. I owed it to her to be the best version of myself. And I'm like, gosh, this might be the healthiest relationship I've ever been in, because she has to listen to me at this point, and I need to give this all I've ever had.
And she makes you want to. I feel like it's like you're about to say she completes you in a sense.
Yeah.
Like she makes you a better person, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, actually, what's so funny is, man, I almost wanted to quit the first couple of days. I grew up on a farm in South Carolina, and every animal loves me. Like that's like every animal loves me. I would come to your house, your dogs would be all over me. I'm like, I got her, and I have to work for it. I have to work for her love. And this is what I was going to tell you about the pairing process. We don't give you what you want, we give you what you need. And I was so mad when they gave me this dog, because it was what I needed, not what I wanted. I knew that I wouldn't appreciate a dog that would just autopilot and do whatever it needed to do immediately, because I wouldn't have to work at that point. Because she and I have such a different relationship, and I have to work for her to want me, makes me appreciate it so much more. It's it's one of those things that when you have a kid, and how many times do you have to ask your kid to clean their room before they actually clean their room, right? What do you say, like 5 times, and then like, okay, they finally do it. So
funny as you say that, I have to interrupt for 1 second, only because earlier I was in a meeting with Andrea, and she said, and I have an intern, and I said his name several times in a row when I was like about to say something to him, and she goes, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Because I'm a parent, and when you talk to your kids, you literally have to say their name like 10 times before you can actually say what you really want to say to them, so they're actually looking at you and listening." So like, yeah, it's a different, yeah.
So if I can get this service dog to do her job 60% of the time, it's a win, because I mean, and that's just being honest. She's not really a service dog. At this point, she's a medical device. She's a wheelchair. She's a walker. That's what she is. But she has her own personality. So that's like asking my kid to do the exact same thing perfectly every single time. It's not going to happen. So my expectation for her is, I want you to do it to the best of your ability, and we're going to work on it together. But you have the forgiveness. I'm not going to ask you perfectly every time. So we have a relationship where we have mutual grace and understanding between each other that I don't expect perfection and she doesn't expect perfection out of me. So I don't have to be the best version of myself every day. She doesn't have to be the best version of herself. There's days that she gets up, she doesn't want to go to work, and I'm like, get in the car. Just like I have days. She just looks at me. She's like, Dad, I'm not. It's raining. Not today. Newsflash: I have the only Labrador Retriever that cannot swim. That tells you her personality.
Can't or won't?
She sinks. She's currently
Oh.
with a life vest on. She sank to the bottom of the pool. We had to pull her up. It was tragic. Ear
Oh my
infection
gosh.
afterwards.
Oh.
We're working on that. And we have a 0 entry pool. I mean, just walk back. Come back to me. It's like a beach entry. She's something special.
Can we go back to, like you said, be prepared to cry, and you talk about your weight loss? Am I crying because I found your weight? Because I will cry because I think I found it.
Man, it was tough. It was
it's like a heavyweight championship belt. Let's be clear. I'm like wearing that shit. Like I have my 30th high school reunion, and I'm at my high school. I'm at the same weight and body fat percentage I was when I went in the Marine Corps right now today. So absolutely incredible. Not saying that the dog. I'm 5'9" and 185 pounds. My max weight in the Marine Corps was 186, 185.
Wow.
And then if you were under 18% and got taped for body fat, so 16% and 185, you got that thick neck. You get that thick neck.
I got weight I never passed it. Okay, so people that don't know this. So the BMI chart, right? That's what the military goes by, right? So you're a certain height, which I think the BMI chart's really flawed because it didn't account for people being regular size. Like literally, I'm like morbidly obese at my size now, and I'm 5'11". So in order to get promoted in the military, you have to maintain weight standard. You have to pass your PT test. You have to pass your weapons qual, and depending on what your job is, right? And so, I never passed a weight. I was always overweight, like because I think like you could be like one for my height 190. I haven't seen a 1 since like 98. Okay, like 1. What is 1? Like it makes zero sense to me. It's baffling.
It's the loneliest number. That's why we go up.
Right. It's all by itself. And I mean, you too sang about 1, and it was like it was a sad song, right? Forget that. I want 2 or 3 if I can get there. But if you don't pass the weight, they measure you. They tape you. So they tape your neck. They tape your chest around like you're getting fitted for a suit. So yeah, I got taped every time. I was so annoyed. And but I was at one point in the ones.
There you go.
But I haven't seen that in a long time. Doesn't matter.
Me either. So
but you're taller than me, so it doesn't even count.
I am not. I'm actually 1 inch shorter than you are. I split the difference between you and Mike.
You wear big shoes because you seem taller.
So, Mike, let me get this right. You actually worked for K9s for Warriors before you got a dog. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Gosh, I think that sometimes part of PTSD is this some crazy stuff. You have everything from self-sabotage to like you don't think you deserve things, like you push people away, like it's isolation, it's and then you get, not to bash any government organization that helps us, you get placed on a lot of different medications, man, and it's just it's like a numbing coma, and I was at a point where I was on probably about, I don't know, 9 to 12 different just medications for depression and all those things, and I knew that I had to make a change. My father passed away, and I was at my dad's funeral, and I was so numb, just completely just emotionless. I couldn't even cry at my dad's funeral. It was just like I knew that I was like, oh my God. I was like, I feel something somewhere. I know it's there, but I just couldn't. You run from feeling so much that like you And so that's kind of how I knew that I needed to get off a lot of these medications or change something, because nobody should just walk through life with either scared to have these feelings or just not able to experience them or just get released from them. But yeah, I worked there for like five years before, and you watch people find success, and then like you're like, you don't deserve that. Like, I don't deserve that. That's their story. They're gonna make that happen. That's what they're gonna get. They're gonna get. I don't deserve that. I'll do it later when it's my turn. They need it a lot more than I do. You come up with a million excuses, and I finally
True.
just said, man, why not? Why not be happy? Like, my new motto is, I love me some me. I love me. Like, and you know,
That's a
and
great attitude.
I love me some me. And that was kind of this whole, like, I know that sounds so stupid, but I had to, like, you have to shift your whole mentality to the point where, like, I love me, like, from start to finish, head to toe. You have to change your whole perspective to get it. Um, and the only other person I could get, like, to non-judgmentally love me, and I could brainwash her to agree with me on everything, is my beautiful Garrett. So
Except for she
she's
can't swim. Other than that, you're good.
yeah.
No swimming.
I got a deep treat pouch, and she loves jerky. I'm going to tell you right now, I could teach this dog to do the hokey pokey. If I had 30 minutes and enough jerky, she would do it. She's she goes from, yeah, she's a lab. She's just highly food motivated. That's all that needs to be
As a
said.
lot of them are.
Yeah.
I am too. I get it. Yeah.
I'm highly, obviously,
Yeah.
morbidly obese here. I'm
I
highly.
think we're just all food motivated.
Yeah.
Did I mention it's wing-
Give me some
did I
jerky.
mention
I'll do the
wing-
hokey
did I
pokey
mention-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, did I mention it's wing night tonight? You better get this shirt. I get the wing night. I mean, I'm like,
Oh, so I think that makes a good segue though into the training of the dogs. So because you've worked there and now you have your own dog, and obviously you've
Yeah.
worked with your own dog, what goes into the training of these dogs?
Wow. So it is absolutely intense. So we do use primarily rescue dogs. I say primarily because obviously we can't use 100% rescue dogs. It's just not feasible. One of the reasons why we can't use 100% rescue dogs is because, let's say, Eric, you have a dog allergy, and I have to get a hyperallergenic dog. To get a true hyperallergenic dog, you actually you have to go into the second generation of that. So, for an example, if you had a lab and a poodle, the lab or doodle, that first generation still has a 70% shed rate. So just because it's that first generation, it's not hyperallergenic. You have to get to the second gen. Because genetics go so deep on some of these things, we do have people who voluntarily donate litters of puppies, and or some of these are rescues that are coming in from someone who maybe left a litter of dogs. So there's dogs that come, we call them provider dogs. They're provided to us from other organizations. Let's say that there's another organization that has a search and rescue dog that fails their course. That's a perfect dog for me, because they have a dog that only works for ball drive, meaning that it's incentivized by only getting a treat. It doesn't have that. Well, guess what? That's perfect for me. I want a dog that's food motivated. So that might be a dog that I get from there. So the training of the dogs, basically here, we start from the foundations. Most of the dogs, like you were saying, are coming from a shelter. So we really have to kind of figure out what some of their trauma is. And the only way we're going to do that is going through exposure. So we start with basically the fundamentals on how to do things, and we use training principles called LEMA. LEMA is the least evasive type of training. So it's all positive reinforcement. So I was saying treats for her. If you can find out what motivates this dog, whether it's tactile, being petted, or a treat, you can teach it to do anything. There are a lot of different training philosophies that are negative reinforcement, where they use maybe like an aggressive collar, or e-collars that shock or vibrate. We try to steer away from that because we feel it creates more trauma, not just to the veteran itself who has to then and do that, but it's also hurting the relationship between them and the dog. If I don't feel comfortable doing it, then it does so we try to steer away from
Right.
all of that. It's just a negative stigma. So everything's lima based. So as the dog goes through, it goes through like different checkpoints. We have like a 5-week test, a 10-week test, and as it goes through those things, we make sure that it has the correct temperament. We are accredited through ADI, which is Assistance Dogs International. So our dogs have to be temperament tested, so they're not reactive to other dogs. They are going to meet our height and weight standard, meaning that they don't have predisposition for like hip dysplasia. We take x-rays of their hips to make sure that they can support a command called brace, where I actually put body weight on them to stand up and get down. We make sure that they are not aggressive to other dogs, all those different things. So there's a whole different stage that they go through. And again, it could take anywhere from 3 to 9 months. Some of these dogs are fostered in homes with people and kids, and these dogs have a really good success rate because they have a higher level of exposure. And there's some dogs that have never left a kennel environment, and when it takes them longer to transition into those environments. So, the training is just exposure as we go on. So we start on campus, just walking around. And then at the end of it, like for an example, some of the exposure, we take dogs right here to the Jacksonville Zoo, to the alligator farm. And let me tell you, taking a dog into an alligator farm where there's a natural predator, the dog's freaking out, the veteran's freaking out. There's 800 kids there. Like you're surrounded and you're trying to manage all of it. So that's like the crescendo moment that
Sounds like a
we
great
give them
time.
before they leave. Yeah, it is straight chaos. I love it. I'm crying. Everybody's crying. They're freaking out. Um, it's one of my favorite days. But yeah, so it's just a level of exposure, and we honestly don't know. Like for an example, we had a dog that was scared of men with mustaches, and we didn't know that until it ran to a guy that had a mustache, and then we kind of figured out through exposure that that's why the dog was barking. So it's just, we might never know. So anywhere between 3 to 9 months. If we do have a dog that doesn't make it, we call it a career change. It doesn't mean that it's done. It just means it's having a career change. That career change could be a station dog, meaning that we've also seen a spike in first responder suicide and or things of that nature. So we have a station dog program. So if this dog doesn't meet our standard to be a service dog, maybe it would be a great therapy dog. Maybe its hips are not in a that guideline that we have to have medically. So maybe we send it to we have in Surfside where the towers collapsed here in Florida. We had 2 station dogs there for the 911 dispatchers and the fire department as they were going through the scene. Going through all those things, we had dogs on site helping them get through all those things emotionally, and that's just a second stage of a life of a service dog. So God, there's just so many different things. The program touches so many different communities and so many different veterans in different ways. A lot of almost 40% of the first responders that you have out there are veterans, because that's that tight knit community, veterans and first responders. That's those people that are there. So it's just hand in hand, that whole thing.
I love that. So
Yeah.
I want to come back to something that I think people should understand. Like you said that you don't feel like you're deserving of things, right? Like, it's a natural thing, and people don't get it that like everybody has their own whatever. But I think military people, especially, like I'm 48 now. I didn't apply for benefits until I was 42.
God, I'm
And
49.
because I didn't feel like I deserved to get because people way worse than me. I saw them. I know. I served them. So, and that's just one element of this, right? And it's always that not being deserved of it. And we had the last time we had people on a different live stream, we had Devin and what was the woman's name, Andrea, that runs the she works for you guys too. Devin is one of the trainers, and who is it?
Kirsten?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we were just talking about these things, and honestly, it's the program itself is phenomenal, but Kirsten was telling us about the gentleman that what was the guy's name, Ben or something, or oh my god, she told a story about a guy that like literally he was saying his goodbyes to everybody at the VA because he was going to end his life, and he got the call like that day to get the dog, like it was that day, which was very fortuitous because he would have been done. And him, like all of us, especially any one of us that have gone, I don't think people understand the importance of the program because most civilians don't deal with the VA, and the VA is shit. I mean, they try hard, but it's just they've stretched them so thin, and they've given very little resources that you don't get very much of anything, you know. And so when you come from, when you're in the military long enough, you become institutionalized, almost, right?
Without a doubt.
You absolutely do, right? And then you come out and you expect it to be the same, and it's not. So that's your first reckoning, right? And then you expect the VA to be like when you're on active duty, and it's not. It's a 10% of the active duty of what you received. Because in active duty, if you break your leg, they are going to pick you up, take you to the hospital, fix you up. I mean, they're trying to get you back to war as quick as possible, right? That's not doing it. But you don't realize that you still taken care of. The end, you know. I mean, I was part of the Blue Boot, brigade for a while because I broke everything. So, but you come out and you don't feel like there's no value then, right? There's no value in you, and it's very difficult to transition from that. So, I love the fact, not just the dog. I mean, I love dogs, obviously, and that's great. But I like the whole program. Like you got every one of you we spoke with have been like Mr. Rogers. It's freaking ridiculous.
It's been I work with some of the most obscurely talented random people. You take a nonprofit and people who are passionate about a mission, and you draw some random weird talent from everywhere, because most people work with dogs because they don't work well with humans, right? I mean, think about it. Like, introverted is introverted.
Yep.
So what was the best thing was COVID, because a lot of these random places they had to close, like because of tourist stuff. So
which is
like,
even worse.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to sit up on this one. I hired dolphin trainers. I hired elephant trainers. Oh my gosh. Behavior modification is behavior modification. And if you understand the principles of modifying behavior, training is training, and targeting. It's really so funny, because you can take these principles that we teach during these classes, and like, you could literally train your kids. And it's so fun because we try to train each other at work sometimes, and it's like, they don't even know it. Like, we'll have like a clicker, and it's almost like a bad episode of, like, I don't know, it's a bad sitcom where we're like, hey, and you have 1.8 seconds to bridge that command with a yes, and you're giving them a click. You're like, great job, click. And they're like, did you just click me? I'm like, no. Didn't do that.
Sounds like an episode of The Office, actually.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But
so
it's before fun. You go further though, and this is something that I struggle with in corporate America. You just said the fundamentals are the same. And I believe that wholeheartedly too. If you can train, you can train. You've already learned the fundamentals of it. And people think there's specific, and this is a military thing because we all learn everybody's job. But once we understand the program, I can bring anybody in that program too. And we can all find success.
Yes.
But you have to establish what the program is and the deliverables of the program. And once you do, and it doesn't matter what you specifically do on the outside, the fringe is the fringe, I feel like, but the core is the core. And that's, and I it's a struggle point I think that's a great down the road conversation someday, to talk to people coming out with the intangible and soft skills that they get from doing this.
Let me tell you, the really cool thing that I think that we do here as far as how to train these veterans is that we break this down into, I'm Marine Corps infantry. I was a 0352. I shot missiles at tanks was my primary job. I mean, that was just like, oh, my recruiter came back, was like, hey, bro, you did really good on your ASVAB. You qualify for O3XX open contract infantry. And I was like, yes. No clue that that's like the worst thing in the world that could have ever happened to me. And he was like, you're going to go see the world. And I'm all like, Roger that. So like, I didn't know open contract infantry literally mean that I could do anything and like, not have like it was the worst thing in the world. I was going to get stuck somewhere. So like, it's
I
just
love that.
the worst
Mine
thing.
was congratulations, you were still going to ASVAB. We have combat engineer for you. I was like, that sounds, what's that mean? And the response was, do you want to go blow shit up? Yeah, I'm an 18-year-old boy.
Give me a line charge. Yeah.
I want to blow shit up. They're like, yeah, you get to work on nitroglycerin and C4. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Oh, and coincidentally, there's a bonus for this. I'm like, oh my God, there's a bonus. Yeah, you get like $2,000. I'm like, it's 1994. The bonus is because your life expectancy is like 0.8 seconds. So like,
first one's gone.
I'm amazing.
Makes no sense.
I'm amazing, obviously. That's why I got it.
Yes, you are.
You are.
I think it's more amazing that you made it through. You made it more than 28 seconds at least.
We learned at our level, even as a combat engineer, we learned at our level that small unit leadership is what does everything. If you can get the commander's intent down to your small unit leadership, it doesn't matter what happens. If these people understand what the intent of what you're trying to do is, these people can make it happen, and they want to make it happen if you can get them on board. So when they come here to train, I keep them in groups of 4 and 5 because they form like almost like a squad, and they build that cohesion, that unit cohesion that they haven't had, that they've been wanting for such a long time. And it's just it's so crazy because they're not going to let each other fail, which is, that's just how we are. And then on top of that, they don't want to let each other down. So they might be struggling mentally or or having a bad day, and they're going to pick each other up on their own without me having to step in and do anything, because that's just who they are. If we can let them in that 4-man group help each other out, get through what they're doing, this isn't my journey. I'm taking myself out of it. I'm just giving them the tools they need to be successful. This is their journey. Let's let them write their own story. And then it's helping them understand also, after they leave after 3 weeks, all I can do is give them the tools to be successful, and they have to use them. We're putting them in these situations where if they can start using them successful, they'll find success, and we're building those things. And for a lot of people like myself, I didn't, like you were saying, it took me 12 years before I applied for my benefits. I went to go apply for my benefits, and the dude beside me was a double amputee, and I was like, I don't need this. He does. And I left. I was like, I don't need these benefits. I don't care. I need to leave right now. And I felt so guilty. It was just an overwhelming guilt. And
I agree.
yeah. And then, watching where we're at now, and these guys kind of going through this process and finding the success that they have, you don't feel that you deserve that success. And then them hyping each other up and being each other's cheerleaders. Maybe they haven't had that. My wife is really amazingly supportive for me, and she helps me so much in so many different ways, and helps, gosh, I almost feel like a Taylor Swift song. I'm all glowed up. But
can you sing?
No, trust me, that's not Garrett would wake up. She would howl. She would leave me. It's not even anything.
Well,
this is, I'm going to check. Okay. Let's
background.
Pause for 1 second, because my dog is broken. This is how she sleeps. Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, she's like playing Twister without the board.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
That is very similar to how my daughter's cat sleeps.
Oh my God.
Or just hangs around.
But she's
my
against the wall, and she twists her hip back. I mean, that's amazing.
She's like inverted. She's like Top Gun. She's like Goose and Mav.
So while we're on that topic, can you just acknowledge the fact that at some point in your life you could sleep anywhere? I could sleep
anywhere, anytime. My wife laughs at me now, because if you give me 45 seconds, I'm asleep right now. Like 45 seconds. She doesn't hate it. My sleep apnea, I've lost a lot of weight, so my sleep apnea was really bad. Obviously, hell, I would stop breathing for like 8 seconds. It's like, oh, but I've lost a lot of that since I've lost weight, but it's not restful sleep. And that's what people don't understand is like
Right.
you go to
But
sleep.
I was very restful. So I had to wear a flak vest, right? For shrapnel,
Yeah.
right? And so a flak vest.
When did you get out? We're the same age. So
2003.
Okay. So we were in the same time frame.
Yeah. So when I was in Bosnia, I had this, and my first deployment was Bosnia, by the way.
Hello, third.
I was 46 support group out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The whole group went. And I had no idea. And it's funny because our first sergeant was like old school Vietnam guy. He's like, "Good news, boys. We're gonna stay at the Hilton." I'm like, "Great, the Hilton." I'm like, "That's what deployments are." There were no walls. It was all blown to shit. They're like, he's like, I was like, man. So like, you get a flak vest, right? Because we did explosives, so that's why you get a flak vest. And the flak vest is like, it's just hard. It's firm. It's like, so if you were ever trying to, as a kid, you swam and they put the floaty vest on you, that's a strap. That's the flak vest, right? Because it's like in your face. It sits here. But the good thing is, if you move the canteens over, you can sleep like a turtle.
So a flak vest, just so you know, they have second chance plates now. So now they have a vest that has like a second chance plate, and it's supposed to stop like bullets. What he's talking about, what we had was basically a Kevlar vest. It's made out of Kevlar. It weighed about 30 pounds. And we would play something called combat soccer in it with a helmet. I'm sure you did the same thing. And it is absolutely
so great.
Serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. Honestly, the purpose in Vietnam for a flak was if you were, and he'll tell you this, if you were to get hit by a fragmentation, it was to keep your body together. Is
right.
Literally the only purpose
to keep
your
yes, correct.
Is to keep all your body parts together. But yeah, we would play combat soccer in it. That's what we did.
Can we agree the most accurate military movie is Jarhead? Because they don't really show a bunch of stuff, but they do dumb shit on deployments. And there's only 5 minutes of something that happens, and then there's nothing for 3 months, and then 5 minutes again. So literally every dumb thing they do is what we do. Like when they were doing gas mask football, when they wore the gas masks and play football, that makes sense to me. That's what happens. Like you literally do the dumbest things because you're bored out of your mind.
You invent like crazy drunken Olympics. It's just. Yeah,
on a regular basis.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't have a buffer rodeo in your barracks where you literally sit on top of a buffer and see how long you can ride it while it spins, you know that you did this. You know that you were part of the E4 Mafia and you did this.
I ran the E4 Mafia, to be clear.
There you go.
And so for E4 is a rank, by the way, guys, it's a pay grade. Not a rank, it's a pay grade. And I was a specialist. I actually got promoted to corporal because I was a leader. And then we had MREs, which here's the thing we used to do. Every MRE had Tabasco in it. I can't eat Tabasco anymore because I've ruined it. It's like that drink you can't drink anymore because it made you sick forever. That's Tabasco sauce. And
or Southern Comfort.
Southern Comfort is exactly my problem, right? So they have a heating element that they give you to put your pouch in, right? And pour water and everything else. So what we would do is we would crumble up the heat element and put it into little bottles with the Tabasco sauce, pour the water and throw it in somebody's GP medium or their little tent, and then tie it together so they can't get out. It's CS gas. It's phenomenal. It is dangerous for everybody else but you to throw it in. And it hurts. So yeah, every dumb thing you can think of, we did.
It's like
and you order
hazing.
Correct. And you order as many pyrotechnics as you can. The non-dangerous ones, well, they're all dangerous ultimately, but or as many as you can so you can blow up as much of the hillside as you can. That's how it works.
Well played, sir.
And the only one of those that I can relate to is the buffer rodeo. Because I worked in a grocery store. I worked in a grocery store where we did that.
Eric, I much respect that. That's
I do too. How do you know?
Hey, I'm gonna get us shirts made that says I'm a veteran, buffer rodeo veteran. Buffer soldiers or something.
Instead like
we
the
should have
soldiers,
special ops tabs. We should get like tabs. We should get a buffer tab.
You want to tab them already?
We should tab that.
Tab them.
But
they have to certify.
Oh my gosh.
For tabs.
He's probably a certified forklift driver too, so it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Get 2
As
tabs.
a matter of fact.
See? He's certified as a forklift driver.
Okay, fine.
He's special. He's double special ops. He's
double special.
Yeah, he's in there.
It's been a while since I drove a forklift, though.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
First off, Mike still calls himself a Marine because they can never leave it. So therefore, if he can do that, you can do it.
Brainwashed. You're a Marine for life. It's.
I think there's a little gap in between those two things.
No, ignorance is ignorance. It doesn't really matter. I assure you. So, Marine for life. You know, we ETS, we retire. Marine's like, I'm a Marine. I'm like, no, you're like 600 pounds and your knees are broken. You're not a Marine. Like, you can't do anything you used to do. And you can't even pick the sword up. It doesn't fit. You can't wear the belt. It doesn't even fit on your waist anymore. It's over.
All right. Well,
yes,
we have figured out how to talk about this topic for an entire hour, which, by the way, Sean did warn me about that we could probably talk for 5 hours about this.
I did say that, yes.
And I think he's probably right.
Oh, my God.
So,
yes.
Andrea, how does somebody get involved with K9 for Warriors through Connectwise and through IT Nation Gives?
Yes. So we have a variety of different ways that you can help support K9s for Warriors. So first and foremost, we have a fundraising goal of $5,000. So if you could share the link that we have for donations, maybe Eric, you can donate directly to K9s for Warriors. If you go to the site, it showcases exactly what your donation will get you. So for example, if you donate $100, that's going to buy peanut butter for the shelter dogs for an entire month. Who wouldn't love to give these pups some peanut butter? Just for $100.
Actually, I want to sponsor a dog. Chandria has to be sponsored.
We're working our way to getting the dog. We're working on it. Our goals got to increase a little bit more. But
okay, anybody watching this, let's be honest. There's a lot of money in our space.
We'll get
People
there.
have it. Stop being a bunch of shit white tightwads.
Oh.
Just go. Spend the money. My God.
Yeah. Well,
anywho,
you only get military like I'll be like, hey, listen, you only can do that because we served and we did the shit we did. So spend the money.
Yeah. Okay. So monetary donations are absolutely super appreciated. They're going to go to everything that Mike has chatted about as far as helping support K9s for Warriors and their facilities and their dogs and the veterans that they are serving. Number two, if you are on site at IT Nation Secure next week, we are kicking things off on Monday, June 3rd with dog treat making. So hopefully Garrett might get some, Mike. We are rolling some oats with some peanut butter, some honey. We did this last year. We made, I think, about 300. So I'm shooting for at least that many this time. So absolutely come out and help us make some treats. And then we actually have some warrior speaking sessions that are happening on Tuesday of IT Nation Secure. So we have our veterans meetup that Sean and Craig Fulton are leading at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. We're going to have a warrior join us at that session. So please be sure to come out and mix and mingle with not only our warriors, but the other veterans that'll be at IT Nation Secure. And then that afternoon, well, I guess almost afternoon, 11:45 to 12:15, we're going to have a few of the warriors come and speak at the Marketplace Theater inside of the Solutions Pavilion. So you can hear some more stories like Mike has shared today. I highly encourage everyone to try and attend that session. We had some folks join us in November at Connect. Very, very moving and impactful. And I can't say enough about what an incredible experience that was to be able to hear from our warriors. And then last but not least, we're going to have some doggos on site on Wednesday, June 5th. So a few folks from K9s for Warriors are going to be on site, and they're actually going to be doing some demonstrations with the dogs to kind of showcase all of the different trainings that they go through and different skill sets that they're able to provide to the veterans that they're supporting. So we have a lot of different options that I know I just threw out there, but we have more information on the IT Nation Secure website. But monetary donations, dog treat making, warrior speaking sessions, and dog demonstrations. So anything you can do to help support any of these initiatives is, immensely appreciated. And we're just so grateful to be able to support such an incredible organization. And Mike, thank you so much for everything that you do and for joining us and just chatting it up this evening. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me. Garrett is back asleep, so she would say thank you also. Um, just getting the awareness out there. If you know a veteran that is struggling or in crisis, please reach out to the Veteran Crisis Hotline. If you know someone who is, showing those signs, don't be scared to ask. Sometimes people are scared to ask because they don't know what to do. Ask the question, get them help. And that's really how we can all work on this together to help end veteran suicide. Let's not be scared. I mean, we have to face this head on. If we're scared, it's never going to get, the quality attention that it deserves. So let's just ask the questions. And if we can help somebody and they say yes, then goodness gracious, that's a good day.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mike, for joining us. Thank Garrett for us when she wakes up. Maybe give her one of those treats. I will definitely be there at IT Nation Secure to help make those treats like last year, or at least film the making of the treats. Because it gets a little messy, and camera equipment and peanut butter and honey. Yeah. So anyway, I really do appreciate it. Sean, any last words from you?
I have so many. No, Mike, thanks, dude, for coming on and telling your story. Seriously, I know that you didn't even cry, which is disappointing.
Oh man, let me tell you, I stopped about 3 or 4 times. I have, oh my gosh, this was the first time I've gotten through this 100% without like completely breaking down. You can't see my legs. I am twitching like I am in an earthquake right now, but I made it through. So
I mean, Andrea pointed out the other day, I constantly clean my desk. Yeah, I can't. That's my thing. Like, so, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I constantly am doing this. I just can't. There's always something, right? So I totally agree. I totally appreciate that. No, so thank you for being on, and thank you for the organization. I know that you didn't start the organization, but I'm glad you're part of it.
Thank you.
And Andrea, thank you for involving me in this. And Eric, thanks for being an advocate for everything we do. I mean, Eric's obviously always glutting for punishment. Eric would probably be great in the military because he's always glutting for punishment. He's like, sounds great. He's like, this is really dumb. We should do that. I'm like, I agree. That's what we say, right? But no, we have Secure next week. I would expect, for the amount of people that we've all helped collectively on this call, people should be donating. People should be actively engaged and doing things they do. I mean, honestly, like, I'll be donating again for the second time. I still get letters from you guys all the time. Like, literally, oh my God. You know that letter Nazis? You guys have them. I get letters every freaking week.
The difference between stalking and talking is one letter. Don't.
Yeah, it's just one direction talking, so they are stalking. But no, I look forward to seeing everybody at Secure next week. I hope people do contribute. I think Andrea and I are going to make a trip to your guys' facility this year. We talked about it doing already. So in the next couple months, because Andrea is actually in Florida. I'm in Pittsburgh. So, but I'll fly down.
Drive for me. Yeah.
I will make you a warrior for a day. I will strap Garrett to you. We will go train as if you were a veteran. Oh my gosh. Eric, you could have a GoPro on. This will, like, oh my gosh. I've got a whole day.
Mike, we're holding you to that.
Put on a helmet. You're going to blow your mind.
I'm not going to wear a helmet again. Jeez.
Yes. You're going to need a helmet.
Okay, fine. Yes, Andrea and I want that experience, the whole experience of everything. So people can actually see. We will come and we'll record every bit of it. And then we'll give it to Eric so he can make it look nice. Because I'm sure all of it won't be nice. And Eric is good at making things look really nice. But yeah. But Eric, thank you for hosting us. And I look forward to seeing this Monday, actually, coming up. And everybody should be involved, regardless. Come make treats with us. Come just listen to the stories. And I think, Mike, people don't realize how important it is for people to share, to allow us to share the stories with them too. Because when we're sitting in that circle, when you're deployed, you only sit in a circle and you talk all the time. And every story comes out. When you leave that, you don't get that again. And so people should, because we welcome it. And I hope people do get involved and get engaged. But that's all. I'm done.
All right. Well, and with that, speaking of IT Nation Secure and some of my favorite friends who are going to be there, coming up next is Marvin B's show. So head on over there and watch Marvin's live stream. And Marvin will also be at IT Nation Secure. So come check us out.
And he's going to plug K9s. Doors. That's all. I already know, because we sent him all the information today.
Well, because Marvin is a great guy. That's why we promote his live stream and his podcast on this show as well.
I love Marvin.
All right. Thanks again for being here. And we will see you in the next one. Now, next week's live stream will be a recording because obviously I will be at IT Nation Secure. Actually, I will be on a plane, hopefully coming back from IT Nation Secure, depending on how the weather is coming out of Orlando. But that's another story for another time. Good night.
Good night, all.